Attention! If you or someone you love lives in the United States of America and have been harmed during the coronavirus COVID-19 Wuhan flu pandemicless pandemic, please pay attention. You or your loved ones are entitled to significant compensation. Have you or a loved one been injured due to the reckless, irresponsible actions of doctors Anthony Fauci and Deborah Birx, who accepted the model put forth by disgraced epidemiologist Neil Ferguson? Their reckless acceptance and promotion of yet another one of his failed models that pushed President Trump into locking down the country and has become a Pandora's box from which there is no return? Did they fail to even research Ferguson's record of many failures and always overstating the projected loss of life? Even as other scientists questioned Ferguson's model's accuracy, for unknown reasons, Doctors Fauci and Birx criminally pushed it onto the United States. If you are a normal, healthy person, have you lost your job or your business due to the draconian shutdown urged by Doctors Fauci and Birx? Are you or someone you love losing their home after losing a good job, leaving you to face the threat of you and your family being thrown out into the street? Are you or someone you love facing an increased threat of domestic violence? Are you or someone you love facing increasing depression and considering suicide? Has a family member or friend lost their life in a nursing home due to a Democratic governor like Killer Cuomo or Murphy or Jack Boots Whitner insisting COVID patients be sent to nursing homes despite the federal government having provided health care facilities in their state for COVID patients? Has a family member or friend been viciously beaten by a teenager with COVID who was sent to a nursing home by Governor Whitmer despite there being other facilities where they could have been sent? Was your loved one subjected to this for over a week before Judicial Watch was forced to intervene and brought it to a halt? Have you watched petty tyrants, governors, and mayors try to crush the lives of people in their state who are hungry, have hungry children, and need to work to feed them be arrested, threatened with the loss of their children or their licenses? Have you watched as bullies try to increase the small amount of power they have over people to try to build themselves up at the expense of innocent parties?
Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
Have you or a loved one suffered the loss of your First Amendment rights as guaranteed by the Bill of Rights? Have you suffered your voice being silenced as social media shuts down discussion of anything but the leftist point of view and their hysteria?
Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
Has a loved one or a friend been murdered as prisoners were released due to fears of Wuhan flu spreading in the prisons, even as honest citizens were being locked up? Have you or a loved one been denied your normal hobbies, trips, or outdoor activities by draconian measures, while those that deny you enjoy those very things?
Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
Has a loved one or a friend been denied a life-saving drug merely because the president mentioned it and the governor in your state would rather see his citizens die than allow a drug that the president mentioned be used to save their life? Do you have fears about the future of the country with Democrat governors pushing mail-in voting due to the pandemicless pandemic that will lead to voter fraud, forever changing the direction of our country? Do you have concerns that Dr. Fauci is pushing for a vaccine from a lab that he has connections with? Do you have serious concerns and questions about someone without a medical degree like Bill Gates being involved in vaccinations at all, considering he wants population control? Are you worried that Alan Dershowitz's wrong opinion will be accepted and people will physically be dragged into doctors' offices to be vaccinated against their will? Have you been worried about the actual number of COVID deaths due to the CDC guidelines of counting things as COVID deaths even if the patient wasn't tested for the virus? Does anyone have any idea of what the real numbers of deaths are in actuality? Do you worry it is the CDC that is giving the guidelines with their shady credibility?
Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
As you watch the video below from Canada, do you worry about this happening in America? And since there is a mental health rapid response team member there, do those red flag gun laws certainly make more sense? Does it worry you that those same tyrants are the ones signing into law the red flag laws? And all this is unleashed because of the urging of Doctors Fauci and Birx. Americans deserve justice. We deserve our lives back. How will we ever convince our frightened family and neighbors that it was never necessary to live in a mask, never necessary to forego hugs, never necessary to be afraid to let your child play in the fresh air and the sunshine? How do we expect restaurants to survive only being allowed to have a 25% capacity? The same for hair salons, nail salons, small mom and pop businesses. How do we stuff the jackboots back in the box? Back when Officer Friendly didn't arrest a woman for allowing her child to play at another child's house, sold out by a narking neighbor, how will we ever pay off the trillions of dollars stimulus bills made necessary by Doctors Fauci and Birx? How will we cope with the massive income redistribution that has been put into those bills by Democrats? You need the right legal team, a legal team with experience at dealing with medical frauds. Let our experienced legal team of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe represent you. Let them get you the compensation you deserve. If not that, perhaps they can help Doctors Fauci and Birx find the perfect slot that is just where they need to be.